Good afternoon. My name is Terry LaFawn, and on behalf of Augusta County Public Schools and Fort Defiance High School, I'd like to welcome you to our annual middle school and high school all-county band concert. Before I introduce all the band directors for the county, and the last one of those will introduce our middle school director, I'd like to ask if you would turn off your, or at least put on silent or vibrate your cell phones. Appreciate that. I'd also like to recognize a few folks that are here. I know some administrators are here. I saw Don Abernathy from Stewart High School, Larry Landis and Alan Shaw from here at Fort. There's applause for them. George Earhart, who is Assistant Superintendent for the county. John Matherly, who is Director of Instruction for Augusta County. Any school board members here that I might be missing? All right. Okay, well, again, thanks for being here. You're in for a treat. And now let me introduce, and if these folks would just stand where they are and remain standing, and then I'll ask you to give them an applause after I've introduced everybody. If those folks could just stand as I call your name. First from the middle schools, from right across the road at Stewart Middle School, Steve Cash. Stewart. It's home cooking, man. What is up with that? All right. So, Stewart's Draft, keep standing there, Steve. Thank you. From Stewart's Draft Middle School, Chuck Biller. From Wilson Middle School, Luke Sackett. From Beverly Manor Middle School, Shelley Moore. And now our high school band directors from Wilson Memorial High School, Matt Bearclough. In the back, all right. From Riverhead High School, Berkeley Harner. From, where am I now? Stewart's Draft High School. Actually, we have a long-term sub that's in for Chrissy Thompson. Chrissy is home with a new little baby boy. Chrissy's here? Wow. Okay, Chrissy. Stand. Wow, I didn't know you were here. Chrissy, her long-term sub is Jason Guerra. Did I get that? And they've split up on me this year, so I think I'm missing someone besides Buffalo Gap is Jerry Phillip. Where's Jerry? Did I get all the high schools? Fort Defiance has one as well. Okay. Where is Claire Leeper? Claire, in the back. Okay, at this time, Jerry, if you would come up, and thanks again for attending.
Good afternoon. Our first director comes to us from many fine universities, most notably the University of Northern Iowa. Locally, he with Sheba Lane run a very successful program at Stanton City Schools, at Sheldon Middle School. And even with our shortened schedule, he's run a very ambitious and successful day with the students, and they'll be performing all of the pieces on your program except for the march. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce a very fine musician and teacher, Mr. Alan Kirkdorffer.
Something? Yes. Hi. We started out this afternoon, whatever this is, it's been a long day. And it's called Port Royal Overture. It was written, it's become one of those classic middle school band tunes that I think just about every middle school band student should be aware of. And it was written about the Civil War. There was a battle in Port Royal Sound, and it's supposed to give you that militaristic feeling. I also think that middle section where the clarinets have the melody for a while reminds me of a sea shanty type thing with the little soldiers marching in the background and everything. Just lots of things going on. And one thing that I like about that tune for a group like this is they all earned a right to be here because they can play their instrument. And that one demands so much of people that we don't normally give fast things to. Even the Barry saxophone plays 16th notes in that one, and that doesn't happen very often in middle school stuff. So I thought that went very well. Now, totally changing the way we're supposed to sound right now, we're going to take a trip back a couple hundred years before the Civil War. This one was written by a man named Quincy. He was alive during the 1600s, and this is what you would call Renaissance dance music. It's very light and airy. It was originally written for wind instruments, although these did not exist at that time, so they're the precursors of these wind instruments, and it was meant for dances and parties that happened outside. I never know quite when to put this in, but I feel like now is a good time for me to preach to the choir a little bit. I have a captive audience, and you're not going anywhere until I'm done with them, so I'm going to keep you here for just a little bit longer. And the thing I want to talk about is just a little bit of music advocacy, because what we're doing up here really is important. And I just wanted to let you have some talking points, so if it ever becomes to the point where you need to say why it's important, you have something you can say. There was a while back that I was driving in my car, and I was listening to NPR, and I don't even remember what the story was about, but they were talking about something, and they wanted to draw an analogy. And so they were talking about people who get up in the morning and they go outside, they get in the car, and they start the car, and they go out, and they made that all, here's the words I remember. Starting the car and leaving your driveway was a complex set of rehearsed procedures. I went, wow, a complex set of rehearsed procedures. That's what I do every day when I leave the house. And then I thought a little bit longer, and I thought, you know what, if that's a complex set of rehearsed procedures, what in the world is this? Because this is way more complicated than me starting my car and backing on the driveway. Now, yes, I have to remember to put up the garage door, and yes, I need to look to make sure nobody's coming down my street. Thank goodness I live on a cul-de-sac. But this is what's really a complex set of rehearsed procedures. And our goal when we get up here is to make it sound like it's not. Just like starting your car. It doesn't feel hard to leave your house. And when you're sitting out there, this shouldn't feel hard. It should sound like we're just having a good time and making some music. And hopefully that's what we're doing. Now, fast forward a little bit. I have twin sons who are in 7th grade. So, yes, I know exactly what you live with. If they can tie their shoe, they have to find it first. And one of them is in a program at Skyline Middle School in Harrisonburg for STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, which is a really awesome program. And they're working in their science and technology stuff, and they're building things, and they're making projects and all this stuff. And then I did some research about that whole idea. And there was some people that are advocating changing STEM to the word STEAM, which is science, technology, education, arts, and math. Because it's arts that have the creativity and teach you the wherewithal to come up with the next engineering thing that has to happen. Because we can teach everybody engineering all day long and they can make the same little piece of equipment, but if you don't have a vision and you don't have an idea, we're not getting any farther. And it's the arts that teach that. And that's what we do. These people that he just introduced, that's what we do every day. And that's what I want to do. Along with a few rehearsed procedures. All right, next, we're going to go to a different part of the world and play a couple of little things from Japan. They're newly composed, but they're supposed to remind you of Japanese folk tunes. There's a part that sounds like a lullaby, and there's one that I say is the beginning of the Chinese New Year, and we've got all kinds of little pictures and depictions that are going along with that. So, Japanese festival. last tune from us. This has really been an awesome experience for me. I've really had a great time. Thank you to the directors of Augusta County for asking me to come do this. This morning they were awesome this morning. Really on task, really rolling, really making it happen. Made it so that we could play this much stuff in one day's rehearsal, which is really cool. This afternoon we were a little tired, and lunch kind of settled, and we enjoyed that for a little bit, and then we got back to work. And I think they've just done an amazing job. These are really wonderful people to work with, and thank you very much for letting me do that. The last one I had to make up my own story, and it's a whole lot more interesting to listen to if you know the story. So I need to take you to, I told them Middle Earth, and we're outside a castle on a peninsula, and there's water all around. And at the beginning of it, you've got the main two characters, man and woman, of course, standing out on the beach. You hear the water coming back and forth. And then, of course, in a movie, things can't go smoothly all the time. So the orcs have to come. But you hear them coming down the peninsula a long ways away. And then a little bit later, the trumpets are going to play their call to arms melody, and the flutes and upper woodwinds have the magical elves going on, and it just keeps getting more and more exciting from there. And I'll let you fill in the ending.